Come on up, Annie.
Very good.
Good evening. Thank you for having me tonight. Mostly thank you for giving me the opportunity to tell you more about Sandy's vision. Her vision is about solutions. She's watched, she's hurt, she's felt the pain of our veterans. I'm gonna cry. Okay. I wrote a book called Know Your Purpose, and I did not have any idea the impact it would have for veterans when I wrote it. I was invited to deliver a workshop based on my book to female combat veterans with PTSD, and I was terrified, as much as I knew my program could help anybody. These were, I'm just gonna say it, some badass women. And I was like, okay, here we go. I went there in hopes of changing their lives, and they changed mine. When I understood the crisis, when one of them walked up to me and said, "You have saved my life," that was eye-opening. I didn't get it before then. I didn't understand the crisis. And then I had another soldier walk up to me. And this is part of Sandy's vision. She said, this needs to be the reintegration program for every branch of military. And I went, wow. Again, I still did not know what that meant until I met Sandy. I spent time with Sandy. We were introduced. I flew over here, sat down with her, was blown away by what she does at the center. And she started to tell me her story, her experience. And I got to meet some of the veterans. And my understanding of the crisis started to become clear. And Sandy didn't mention it, but there is a term. And what's interesting about sitting at this table is that people from this table could be talking instead of me, because they are already talking about what Sandy and I are working together to achieve. And it's something we have recognized as discharge freefall. When soldiers are in the military, there is discipline, there's focus, there's structure, there's organization, there's future. They're thriving, right? Day after discharge, what happens?
Lost.
They're lost, right? I've sat with soldiers, we've talked about it, tears in the eyes, and they look at me and they say, that's real. And I went, okay, here we go. This is what we have to take nationwide. So what we do with our program is we help them put their purpose into words first by understanding what discharge freefall is and that it's real, okay? And then we get rid of some confusions about purpose. People are very confused about goals and purpose. We pull that away. And then Sandy hit on it earlier, help them discover why they're so valuable. They are so valuable to our society. And yet somehow the script has been flipped. When our soldiers come home, they have been trained. What they have experienced, the rest of us have never seen, right? And yet, when they come home, they are not treated with that respect. And so what we do is we get them to find the words to understand that value. And that value is their purpose, right? Who they are, that driving force behind everything they do. The military had a primary purpose. It is what drove them, drove their families, created their future. So what do you replace that with? Their own primary purpose. And so that's what we do. We put it into words, and then we rehabilitate their time in service through the eyes of purpose. And then we take them into application going into the future of how would you apply your primary purpose? How does it change? Because your perspective changes about life when you understand your value. What makes you special, unique, and powerful? You okay, Sandy?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Sandy said most of it. She understands the power of the veteran. And so our goal is to flip the script, is to get our veterans to a place where society views them as valuable as they are. But they first have to understand how valuable they are. They have to be able to see it and understand it. I had one of the girls, when I was doing the first workshop, she said, you know, the whole time you were delivering the workshop, you were saying, you're powerful, you're wonderful, you're great, you know, this, that, and another thing. And she was saying, you know, you can say that all day long, but until I know it, it doesn't matter. But at the end of the workshop, she was one of the ones who came up and said, you saved my life. She said, I hoped and I prayed, because when I got to, it was a retreat, she said, I saw on the program that we were going to talk about purpose. And she said, well, I've had so much therapy, I just thought, well, okay, one more thing we'll do. That might work a little bit, right? She said, it works. It's real, and it works, right? Workable solutions, right? That's the only thing that matters. So our vision is to turn the script around, enable our veterans to become the leaders in their communities, right? That's where they should be. They're the top 1% of our society. They are the greatest people on earth. They committed to a duty to protect us, and they withstood it, and they endured it, and they came back because they love America. They love you, they love me, and we want them to love themselves, right? So I could probably talk on all night, but I'm going to give the podium back to Sandy, and thank you. I love you.
I love you too.